to go home now, you idiots.
Okay, disco garbage can. Yeah, flip your lid. Disco garbage can. Flip your lid. Yeah, get down. Alright. Twirl. Everyone twirl. So I turned and walked away. Like later on I would go and pay. Then it happened when I stopped. A frozen bird fell with a plop.
My family is waiting for me.
A frozen bird fell with a plop. Who flung this turkey at me? Who flung this turkey at me? What's going on? Didn't you see? Someone threw a turkey at me. Yeah, disco garbage can, everybody. Yeah, flip your lid. Disco garbage can. Yeah, do the disco garbage can. Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Hey, didn't anybody see? Who threw that ham at me? Who threw that ham at me? Disco garbage can, everybody. Yeah, get down. Yeah, that's really great. Yeah, go for it, baby. Yeah, that's really great. Well, everybody, I've made my scene here at the disco tonight, so I'm going on to the next disco. Hopefully, I'll see you there.
Hey, welcome Grandpoopa. Is it Grandpoopa, Grandpapa, Big Papa, Big Poopa? I'm not sure which. Hey, like that opening theme song of the Dave Darren Show that I mixed. Obviously, that's not my song, but it has actually made videos mixed in with it. Good to see John, and good to see you guys join. I got 4 people watching, which is 3 more people than I usually have watching. So very cool, very cool. I have, obviously these shows always go viral. Viral for me means 2 or 3 people watching. So let me tell you what I'm going to talk about today. Let me pull up my little banner here, or I don't need to pull it up. I was fired yesterday. Now let me tell you why, and why I accepted openly, and why I knew it was going to happen. But let me get to this. You know, I'm not doing a political show tonight. In fact, I'm not going to be hostile at all because I'm pretty happy. I'm free today. I'm out of jail. And I'll tell you what, so I was, for you guys that know me, you know that I used to own I'll tell you my history a little bit real quick. Beyond being a total dick and a total asshole and a total jerk, I'll tell you what I am. I came from a background of being in technology for a lot of years. It means I was a software developer, or I was a programmer, which they call now developers. Everyone's got to change the name of shit so we're all confused, right? So we have more elegant names. What's wrong with computer programmer? Now they're all developers. There's no longer a stewardess. You're now a, what are you? You are a server. I don't even know what the names are anymore. I'm sick and tired of the names and the stamp of shit. Tired of it. But I used to work for General Electric. I went to Drexel University. The things, I'll tell you right now, things were much better way back. I always tell you guys, I'm so happy to be the age that I am now because things now are totally fucked up. Grass was definitely greener on the other side. I don't mean the grass you smoke. The grass back then was pretty tasty. I don't know what it tastes like now because I don't do it anymore. Maybe I should start smoking some weed so I lighten up. But I'll tell you, the grass was greener back then. I used to work I went to Drexel University. I was on their co-op program, so they placed me. They actually helped to place me. I was working at General Electric right across the street. It was real convenient to get to it. I went to Drexel. After Drexel's courses were over, walked across the street, and I was at work at my co-op program, right, at General Electric. I've had my own business for a lot of years, 13 years in total. And most recently, I had my own consulting business where I hired 8 people, and I just sold it so I could retire. And by the way, I'll tell you, the people I sold it to, they laid off 3 of the 8 people that I had. So there goes corporate America for you. But just in a nutshell, I'm going to tell you the way things used to be. For any of you guys that don't know, here's an education. For you guys that know, here's the differential between what it is now and what it used to be. If you remember, we used to all have free health care. We worked at General Electric. Health care was free. We didn't pay a penny for our health care. Lunch was paid for. Do you remember we used to get paid for lunch? You worked an 8-hour day like that song, 9 to 5, working 9 to 5 by Big Breasted Dolly Parton with that skinny middle section and the nice petite round ass and the big boobs, right? Remember Dolly Parton? Right? We wanted to part her breast and stick our head in it. That's how she got her name, Dolly Parton. Guys wanted to part the breast and stick their head in there. That's how we got with Dolly. That's how the name Dolly Parton. And they were moving around like dollies, like they're on dollies. The 2 breasts are moving around like dollies. That's how she got her name, Dolly Parton, all right? So, we used to work 9 to 5, an 8-hour day, and we used to get paid for our lunch hour. And it used to be a lunch hour. It used to be a lunch hour that we got paid for. We didn't have lunch and learns. Now all of a sudden, it's like this big benefit that people have. And they're all so happy to go to a working lunch where you're paid. You know what you're paid for? That hour that we used to get paid for. Now when we take our hour break, we have to work 9 hours because one of the hours is lunch that we don't get paid for. So all of a sudden, our 8-hour 9 to 5 is no longer 9 to 5, 8 hours. It's 9 hours because 1 hour you don't get paid for. And on top of that, you have these gracious lunch and learns where you're giving up your lunch hour for the cost of the slices of 2 pizzas, which they usually buy from Papa John's. Not even the best fucking tasting pizza. So you guys are all okay with that. Surrendering your lunch to have a lunch and learn, so you're working during your lunch and you're getting paid by slices of pizza and a soda. And you guys think it's worth it. And I'll tell you what else. When we remember, we used to remember this one. And of course, you guys don't remember this. When you had vacation, you used to get you immediately got 2 weeks vacation. Then it used to be 5 years or worse, 10 years, and you got 3 weeks. Then you got 4. You had some bozos that got 6 weeks vacation eventually built up. And by the way, you were entitled to take your vacation because they hired enough fucking people so they didn't have to overwork the amount of people that were there, so that they had enough coverage so you could actually take your 6 weeks vacation. And then on top of that, if you didn't take all your vacation, it used to convert into dollars. So for instance, if you didn't take 1 week's vacation, that 5 days, you could convert that into dollars into your pocket. That's the way it used to be. I'll tell you what it's like now. And I'll tell you what I found out. I got seduced to going back as my own I started to consult again. For 2 weeks, I was a consultant for a bank that will remain nameless. I won't mention Wells Fargo. I was at a nameless bank. I'm not going to mention the name of where. I'm not going to mention Wells Fargo, okay? But 2 weeks I was there, and here's what happened. Well, first of all, here's what goes on in corporate America now. If you're a young guy and you don't know what it was like, the grass was greener on the other side, and I don't mean the weed that you're smoking right now when you're listening to the show, but this is what we got now. Now we have to pay for our own health care. Now, when I had my own business with those 8 people and I just sunsetted in January, and I said they laid off 3 people, and by the way, they laid off the minorities as well. There goes the treatment of corporate America, where everyone says everyone's equal. They laid off the minorities that I had working there, which were really the best people. Were the people I had, which were 2 minorities. One of the guys should have been laid off. I should have laid him off, and they laid him off. But now I was paying 70% of their health care. Now, typically, and now I went to consult for the nameless bank, and I'm not going to mention the name Wells Fargo, but I was working there. Of course, you have to pay for your own health care when you're self-employed, when you're a consultant. You got to pay for your own health care. Even if you work for a company full-time, you got to still pay a portion of your health care, a good chunk of it. A good chunk of your health care you got to pay for, right? And then work from home now. We have COVID-19, this fucking nightmare of a virus. So we all get to work from home. You know what that means? That means that when you are now sick and you've got that laptop, the company is expecting you to still work because you're working from home. You could be in the bathroom vomiting or having a diarrhea shit in the toilet, and but you're supposed to have the laptop on your body. You're naked, your pants are down, you're vomiting or you got diarrhea, but you got the laptop there and you're working. In between farts, that hopefully you're going to press the button so it's muted, but in between farts you're supposed to be working. In between the leaking liquid diarrhea coming out of your ass, you got to work. That's the way it is now. That's the way corporate America treats you right now, where you think it's great. I get to work from home. You get to work from home, but if you're sick, you got to work. You got to work. And companies now, I think what they think is, okay, so Dave Darren and everyone else probably has a commute to get to work of 45 minutes in each direction. So that's an hour and a half. So you know what? Dave's 8-hour day, that it used to be an 8-hour day, now it's a 9-hour day because your lunch, you got to work, you don't get paid for your lunch. So it's a 9-hour work day on top of it. Now they consider your 45 minutes and your 45 minutes home as an hour and a half. So why doesn't this guy work 10 and a half hours? Because he doesn't have to commute anymore. So instead of commuting, he's got to work. He should be working. And now we're overworked to the degree. We are overworked and we are underpaid. So the company, I'm not mentioning the name. I'm not going to mention Wells Fargo. Trust me, I'm not going to mention them. All right. But now you go in. My work day. This is how my work day started out. Did I cover everything? Let's see. Working lunches. And I'll tell you what companies do now. In fact, the company I'm not going to mention, they required you in the contract to work for them, that after you work 6 months, during that 6 months that you work, you are mandated to take off 6 days. And of course, you don't get paid for those 6 days. If they're going to mandate you to take time off after a 6-month period of working, and they're mandating that you take time off, why? So you're refreshed. You know why you got to be 6 days off to be refreshed, because they overwork your asses while you're working there. They bust your ass and treat you basically like a slave. And like I said, I feel so vibrant today because I'm at a prison. I'm not a prisoner today. So isn't that ridiculous? So here's what my workday was consisting of. And I interview, when you go for these interviews, usually, and you guys that are consultants, you go for a first interview, usually with one guy. And then after that, they have like a panel interview where they'll grill you with a bunch of questions. So I had a panel interview with 3 guys and I got hired on, all right? So I got hired on having an interview with 4 people. And they don't tell you that this job is going to require a lot of overtime, all right? And I'm not going to tell you the type of the program I was on, or the project I was on, because that's irrelevant. It's kind of boring. But here's what took place. My workday started at 7 o'clock in the morning, Arizona time. 7 o'clock in the morning. My last meeting was from 5 o'clock till 6, but it ran overtime all the time. So it's 5 o'clock till 6:30. So how many hours does that make, guys? With the mathematical geniuses of you guys who listen to my show, it's 11 and a half hours of a workday, isn't it? And 2 hours on Saturday and on a 1-hour meeting on Sunday. And they don't tell you this at all. So here I am. I'm working these hours. You know what? A long time ago when I worked for IBM, I remember that. I think it was 7 years ago. I got in the mail a check for $1,000 because there was a class action lawsuit where consultants are supposed to be paid for the overtime that they work. We're not supposed to be treated as what? Exempt or not? I get the two confused. We're supposed to be paid for the amount of overtime we work. It's a law. And here I am busting and here's what happened too. All right. So I actually, after the first week, I knew things were going bad. And I knew they were going to get worse. And at this point, I thought, you know what? Screw them. I'm just going to work my 8-hour day, whether they like it or not, because they're not paying me overtime. So fuck it. I'm not going to put in the extra effort to work overtime, which I would have needed to be successful in that job. Because like I said, what they do, this is corporate America now. And it's because of this fucking virus on top of it, where companies now know that there's enough of a work pool out there that's not working, that needs to work. They got kids in college, they got mortgages, they got car payments. They've got to work. They will work for 15% less than we used to pay them. That's why I sold my consulting company, because I saw this in the limelight. I saw the fact that my employees that I had were trying to be cut by 15% of their salaries and of what I paid out to them and what I could bill out for the contract. So I got out of it and I sold my consulting business. So here I am back at work, and they don't hire enough people They overwork the people that are there, and they call it, what do they call it? Producing, or I forget. I'll come back to that. You got to be performance. That's what it is. They want your productivity. That's the word. Productivity is the key word today. I better write it down because I'll forget it. Productivity. Productivity. But what does that mean in corporate America today? Productivity means that they expect you to produce by working your butt off and working unpaid overtime to be productive. And on top of that, first of all, they pay you 15% less than they used to. I used to be able to bill myself out at $80 an hour back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, I could bill out myself at $80 an hour. Then it goes down to 70, then 60. Today it's about 58 at the most to 62 an hour. That's what it is for a project manager that we should be expecting. And now at the 15% cut, they're trying to hire people at like 52, 53, 55 bucks an hour for what used to be $62 an hour. And you get to work from home, but you get to work from home where if you're sick on the toilet having a diarrhea shit, you got to have the laptop on your lap to cover up your private parts so that no one else can see them. I feel like taking a laptop and flashing them. That's what I felt like doing because they're dicks. So I feel like showing them, you guys are dicks. There's a dick. Check it out. You guys are dicks. This is what corporate America is today. They're dickheads. So they want you to be productive. They want your productivity. Why? Because they're overworking your ass. They don't have to hire two people. You can be the guy that absorbs two people's worth of work by working overtime. So here's what happened. I'm supposed to be on the phone at 7 o'clock in the morning till 6:30. That's an 11.5-hour day. And they're not paying overtime for that bullshit, right? They're not paying overtime. And then you get some dickhead I was working with, some guy, Steve somebody, whose name I'm not going to mention. But this guy, Steve, then he gives me some task, all right? He gives me the task. I meet the guy on Thursday. And by the way, the manager that hired me met with me twice on the phone for half an hour. He should be educating me, right? When you go in there and you're working with people that have worked 12 years at a certain gig, and they bring a guy in who's been there for 1 week, you think that they would give you some orientation, what systems you need to use, etc. I had to use a system called Tableau. So it sounds like you got to put your boss on a table and blow him. That's what it sounds like. Tableau. The only way you're going to keep that job is to put your boss on the table and start blowing him. That's Tableau. I think that's how they got the name of that. I told you how they got the name of Dolly Parton. I told you how they came up with the name Tableau. So I'm supposed to have access to Tableau eventually so I can do my work, all right? So this guy meets me on a Thursday, the guy that I'm supposed to be supporting through the projects that they gave me. Meet the guy on Thursday. Friday, he assigns me some work. I got to get it done within a 3-hour time period. And then after the 3 hours of completing that task, I got 20 minutes to put an executive summary on top of it. So I did this in perfection. In fact, he assigns me 2 people to work with so that I could get the things that I needed from them because I didn't have access to table blow yet. And I wasn't willing to table blow my boss, but I didn't have access to the product. So the other guy did. So he was going through, I told him where to go because we had to grab data from these specific locations. I told him where to go. He took screenshots and he sent them to me so I could create a PowerPoint presentation. I did all the work, and then I handed it to this dickhead, Steve, and then he sends this email out to 10 people saying that Dave did not do it. He didn't follow directions. Yet, what I've been doing too is when I'm a new employee, the thing I do too is like right now I'm doing my show, right? So you guys know I have the ability to have technology on my computer so I can project my show to you guys. I have the ability to record conversations. When you guys know I did the music show, I was recording interviews, audio, and video of the band, so I've got all the software to do that. So what I do now when I have a new client, I record the conversation so I can play it back while I'm doing the work for them, whether it be an Excel spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation. If I forget what the guy says, so I don't have to scribble it down on paper with any degree of inaccuracy, I record the conversation. So I can play it back and be precise in what I produce, which is extremely important, especially when you're starting out. So you can start and hit the ground running. But this job was like a sink or swim. And the tools that they give you nowadays are like, because they think, in their mindset, they got a bunch of people that are in the backlog that will replace you if you fail. And when you're destined to fail, it's like a turnover. It's like a chain of turnover that they're willing to do. And I don't understand why companies will do this, because finding a resource is complicated enough. And then after they find the resource and they filter them out, burn them out, and then they bring the next resource in, it doesn't make any sense logically and it doesn't make any sense what they do. So I had this, and I had this bonehead giving me a PowerPoint presentation. And when I presented it to the two people that are working with me to produce it, they said, well, they thanked me, saying, my God, you met the 3-hour deadline, the 20-minute deadline to produce the executive summary. Thank you very much. I sent it to this guy. He sends out an email to 10 people, CCing me and the other two guys, saying that we didn't follow his direction. I followed his directions precisely, pristinely, and unbelievable. Then I got a second assignment from the guy to take an Excel spreadsheet, take column K, which had a bunch of different things in it, and I broke it down into individual worksheets, which is what Excel calls it. I think they call it worksheets. And I broke it into different 20 worksheets, which represented column K, broken down by category. And then I created a summary, because I was asked then to produce a summary of that. So I had each category and what percentage that represented of the whole. So I did that with an Excel spreadsheet that was pristine. Now I could put calculations in spreadsheets. And actually, I volunteered to do these 2 pieces of work for this guy. I volunteered to do this work for him, and I produced it and gave it to him. And then he sends it out on Sunday morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. He sends this out to 35 people, including managers, saying it was not done properly. He sends it at 4 o'clock in the morning. I think he sent it at 4 o'clock in the morning precisely to say, Dave, I'm away. I'm working at 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Why aren't you participating in our Sunday calls? And I think that's why he did it, to be selfish and sarcastic and say, Dave, I'm available 4 o'clock in the morning. Why can't you be available for our Sunday meeting at 12 noon? Why can't you? I'm available 4 o'clock in the morning. This is the way corporate America now treats you, with abuse. And regrettably, this is what happens. They will find somebody that will be more than happy to be abused, to collect the $55 an hour. He'll be satisfied to work 10-hour days. And I got a call on Friday from some guy that actually I replaced on a project where he moved off to another project and I was filling in for him. And he gave me like no education, and you got to know how to use Tableau. Here's how to use it. Here's how to get access to it. Here's where you go to get access to the product so you can be productive in using Tableau and CPS and all this stuff. I got a call from him on Friday because this guy, Steve, complained to him that Dave's not meeting the task, which is total bullshit on top of it. I get a call from this guy, and he tells me he's working till 9 o'clock at night and he's participating Saturdays and Sundays. And I told him, you know what? You're a guy that volunteered to do that. You've been there 13 years, and there's a big difference. You're a full-time employee where you have health care paid for, or maybe you don't. Probably you don't have it fully paid for, but maybe they pay 50% of it. I don't know what the full-time employees get any longer. I know they don't get free health care. Yeah, it's subsidized health care where you pay into it. He gets vacation. He gets, when it's Christmas and New Year's, he gets off and he gets paid for those days. I told him, I said, you're a full-time employee. You get these benefits. I don't. So how can you expect me to work the hours you're putting in when I am a consultant getting paid per hour and I don't get the opportunity to bill overtime? So I had these words with him. And then on Sunday, I actually logged on because I was going to do a status report for about an hour and a half. And then when I saw this 4 o'clock email from this guy, Steve, criticizing my work, sending it to managers saying it wasn't properly done. And I thought, fuck it. I'm going to throw a ball with my dog, Willie. I'm going to enjoy the Super Bowl, and fuck it. I ain't going to do that work. And I didn't do it. So Monday I go to work, and I saw a variety of meetings I had with people canceled. So of course in my head, I know this guy dropped off from the meeting he was told to. And the Sunday night, by the way, I forgot to say this. Sunday night, I emailed my manager. And I told him all the things that are going on here. I said, give me your recommendation. On Monday, I got nothing from the guy. I didn't get an email, didn't get a text message, didn't get a messenger on, we use Outlook. I didn't see nothing at all, no correspondence whatsoever. So of course I'm not a stupid guy. When I see meetings being canceled, I knew I'm being canceled, right? 3 o'clock, I'm in my last meeting. 3 o'clock, I'm on my laptop, which still I haven't sent back yet. I'm on my laptop, 3:20. I see that my Outlook is asking for a password. And I see that my instant messaging from Skype, my corporate Skype, is now asking for a password as well. So I knew something's up here. It just doesn't ask me for a password because I've been signed in here and my Wi-Fi is still active. It didn't shut down and turn back on where it's asking me to refresh my password. It was still kicking ass. So I knew something was fishy. So I did shut down the laptop, turn it back on, and I could not connect to their network. My network privileges were shut down. And then I get a call from the consulting firm that sent me there, telling me that I'm done. So this is, and you know, they don't even give you the ability. You know, the polite thing to do would be to tell you. The polite thing to do would have my manager call me up and say, "What's going on with this guy, Steve? How can we work this out? Let's have a meet." Nothing at all. So poor level of management. Why is that? Because we as consultants now are throwaway material for the next guy to come along who they can abuse. They saw me as a guy that did not want to work unpaid overtime like everyone else there is doing for Saturdays and Sundays and 3 hours a night every night like this dickhead Dennis volunteered to do. So these guys are working overtime. They expect guys like me that are consultants to work that same time frame, but there will be the consultant behind me who's got a mortgage, he's got car payments, he's got 2 kids in college. He will volunteer to work $55 an hour, work the overtime. He'll be happy with that. He'll be happy because he's desperate, and corporate America knows that there are desperate people out there that they can prey upon and abuse and make them slaves to that work, and they will have the benefits of having their stupid asses employed there. That's what corporate America is like today. That is exactly what it is today. That's exactly what it's like. So when I got canned, I knew it was coming. You know, I'm not a stupid guy. I almost have enough ESP where I should go back to do my paranormal show because I have this psychic intuition. You don't have to be a card reader in poker to know where chips are falling in your employment activities. Let's see if anyone said anything here. And by the way, when I pull up chat, I know there's going to be someone there that says, Dave Darren is a baby boomer who no longer can participate at the level of success to maintain a job as a consultant. There's going to be somebody that says that because a lot of people hate the success that baby boomers have earned. Let's see what anyone here has to say. Good to see Kathleen Cassell. Good to see Bernadette. Let's see, what do they say? Hopefully I'm still your favorite abductee. I miss you. So very cool. Thank you. I never liked Papa John's pizza. I never liked it either. When I eat pizza, I look for good tasting pizza. Terry's here. She says, "Hi, Dave." John says, "I had a coworker like that at BMS. A coworker who did overtime work without billing and was satisfied to become a slave to that corporation." Like I said, there are people out there, corporate America knows that they're out there, and they know that when they find a guy like me not willing to give the freebies that they expect, they'll just turn me over, bring the next guy in, and he will either contribute to that level or they'll get him out of there and bring the next guy in because there are enough of those people to bring through and abuse and damage and destroy. And they know that they're out there. And then, unfortunately, today's environment of unemployment, there are those people out there that are desperate, and they're desperate enough to take these jobs and just bend over a table and be spanked, or worse than that, just taking a pizza, a Papa John's pizza, taking the pepperoni before it's sliced up and use that to plummet his ass. That's what corporate America is like today. And that's why I do not surrender to these guys. These total douchebags, I do not surrender to today's total douchebag corporations that abuse us. And I got to tell you, I think it's like that all across America. I don't think there's a company that respects employees at all. I think it's total abuse. I really do. And we got a president now that I don't call him president. I call him prick-elect reject Biden. We got a guy there in office who's not going to make it better for any of you guys. Yes, and tried to say I built my reports wrong, which I did not. Exactly correct. You know, the funny thing is, when I looked at the report that this douchebag sent out, when I looked at it and I compared it side by side with what I presented, you know what the difference was? He took my arrow and he took the arrow out and made a circle around the place we were looking at in Tableau. Tableau had a bunch of green, then it became gray, then it became a light shade of red before we got 20 days into a loan that was due to be paid. And he circled it instead of the arrow I had pointing to it. And I even created more than that. People don't know how to use Tableau. I didn't know how to use it either. So I gave a little 6-page directions on how to use the product to download it into an Excel spreadsheet. I even added that in there. He said he didn't like what I did. You know what he did? He ripped me off. He took my PowerPoint presentation, changed a couple things in it. If he wanted anything changed, he should have contacted me and said, look, I don't like arrows. I like a circle. He should have done that. Total douchebag. Stole my work, plagiarized my work, presented it, said I didn't do a good job. And you know what? Fuck them. I don't feel like working for them anymore. So thank God I'm the fuck out of there. Terry says, spank him, David. Right. So this is what we got. We got a bunch of people now being preyed upon with the opportunity to be preyed upon because of this COVID-19 total bullshit. And then, you know what? We have to put up with so much bullshit now. We got to put up with a failure of a president. We got to put up with our rights being taken away. We got to put up with having to wear a face mask everywhere we go, although I still do not. I haven't worn a face mask since day one. Unbelievable, this bullshit with the face mask. And like the people that don't like me saying the face masks are bullshit, 328 million people live in the United States, of which, I don't know the statistic today, but about 2 weeks ago was 300,000 people had died of COVID-19, but most of them had pre-existing conditions. From what I've understood with the statistics, 70% of those people had a pre-existing condition, which led them to being more vulnerable to COVID-19, which led them to a death because of their pre-existing condition. On top of that, COVID-19 surrounding it, and that's why they died. But if you take 328 million and 300,000 that died, it's 0.1% of the population that's died. Most of them, 70%, had pre-existing conditions. Yet we got to wear a mask everywhere we go. We got to wear a fucking mask everywhere. We should be, I don't want to get into that aspect of it, but we got all these tortures, and now our jobs have to torture us. The companies that we work for have to compound that and torture us by camouflaging productivity with what they're really doing with us is burning us the fuck out and overworking us and not having enough people to work to cover our asses. So we got to work. So even when we have our gracious work from home programs that we got now because people can't go into an office, so they send them a laptop. I got the laptop sitting here, which I'll have to send back. I feel like selling this fucking thing on eBay and saying, if you want it, buy it on eBay. Buy it back from me on eBay. I feel like fucking doing that. But I can't do that because I get arrested for theft of a product, right? But they'll send you the laptop so you can work from home so that they can calculate you're saving 45 minutes commute both ways. It's an hour and a half. So why isn't this lunatic working an hour and a half extra overtime on top of his 9-hour workday? Remember I said it used to be 8 hours. Now it's 9 hours because we surrendered our lunch hour. So it's non-paid lunch hours. So we got to work 9 hours of 1 hour unpaid lunch breaks. And then on top of it, I said, for those that you missed the show and just tuned in now, we got our lunch hours, which now we have a lunch and learn or work during our lunch hour, and we're paid in slices of fucked up pizza. We're paid in pizza. How do you know, who pays you in pizza? The guy that your friend that you help move and carry sections of bed to the moving truck, or you help them to paint, your friend that you help to paint, they fucking pay you in pizza. That's why I don't need any friends. I don't need a friend to say, Dave, come over, can you help me to move? And I help him to move and he pays me in pizza and beer. I'm worth more than pizza and fucking beer. And they give you the cheapest bullshit beer, Pabst Blue, I don't even know what it's called, PBS. What's it stand for? Pabst, what is it, PBS? Pabst bullshit? I think that's what it is. Pabst bullshit beer. I mean, pay me what I'm worth. Otherwise, don't hire me. And don't fucking lie to me that there's no overtime. Because the only way to be successful in some of these jobs, especially when you start out, is you got to work overtime. If I got to work overtime, you know what? Fucking pay me. Fucking pay me. I'm worth the money. You don't like that? Then don't hire someone else. But the problem is, they can hire somebody else, and they will hire somebody else because they know how desperate American people are now to work. It's a desperation bullshit that's going on now where the opportunities that companies have to abuse you, they're taking full advantage of these opportunities, but they won't take advantage of me, but they will take advantage of somebody else. There's someone else now that they're probably going to bring in another week, and they're going to abuse the hell out of that guy. From what I understand, talking to the consulting firm that hired me, they were supposed to hire 2 people. You know what they did? They probably saw me. They saw my resume. They thought this guy can pull it off. This guy's probably willing to work overtime. He's willing to work overtime. He will work overtime. We're not going to tell him that there's overtime that's involved. We're going to have the guy come. We're going to have him work. We don't need 2 people. We'll just hire Dave to cover 2 people's asses and work the overtime needed to be successful to do 2 jobs. Fuck it. We'll hire 1 guy to do 2 jobs. And you know what? This dickhead wasn't willing to do it. This dickhead got fired. This dickhead is proud to be free today and not a slave to that fucking environment. Pabst Blue Ribbon. PBR, I guess it is, right? I don't even drink that bullshit. I hate that shit. And, you know, I think that's all I got. You know what? At some point, I got to come on. I got to do one more show because one guy said he's fascinated with the stuff I've been doing with 3D printers. In fact, that you can see in the back here, sort of from an angle. I just latched into this. You can see it's almost got you see these lines here? It almost looks like the Borg. Remember the Borg where 7 of 9, that hot chick with the curves all over her body? Remember she had the tubes that came out of her finger and made you a Borg? Basically, the way she looks, she can make me any fucking thing she wants. I'd become a Borg for her. But you notice the lines here that look like Borg injection tubes. But this is a unique printer. Finally, 3D printers now have the ability to mix colors. And there's only a few printing companies that do this. So I'm going to have to come online and do a show for you guys to show you what 3D printing is all about. Because it's kind of exciting now. So I got 3 lines. I got a green, orange, and a white. And I created this just to see how it works. What you do is you take the entire length, you take everything's in millimeters with 3D printers. Everything is in millimeters like remember we used to say that everything in the United States was going to be liters and millimeters? Instead of inches and feet and gallons, there's going to be liters and millimeters. So what you do is you take the amount of product that you're creating, the height of it, and you know how many millimeters the entire thing is, and you know how many millimeters of each color you want to use. So what 3D printers do is people print these things called, what are they called? I forget what they call them. But this is one of the things that they do. They create a little block here. And it tells you, each one of these, I'm not going to get into this. I'll get into it when I do a 3D printing show. But what I did is, you see the green and the orange and the white in the background here. Here's a little cube of green, orange, and white, and brown. So how you do this is, this is 20 millimeters, I think. Now, I think this is 40 millimeters. I'm not good at millimeters either. When I create my designs using the product I use to create designs, I convert inches to millimeters. I know how many. I think this is 40 millimeters. So what I do is you tell the printer, I want 10 millimeters to be in green. Then the next 10 millimeters, I want it to be in orange, and it switches the filament, which not many of these 3D printers do that. So I found this model, and this was really unique and really cool. So you tell it I want the first 10 millimeters to be green. The next 10 millimeters switch to the orange and do 10 millimeters in orange. The next one switch to white and do 10 millimeters in white. And then, on top of this printer being able to do the individual color transfers, you can tell it to blend all the colors. So you tell the piece of software, this part of the 3D printer, you tell it to take 30% green, 30% orange, and that leaves and 40% white. That's what I did, 30, 30, and 40. And I got on the computer and I said, what does the mix of green and orange produce in color? It said brown. So what I did is I made a lighter brown by using more white than I did orange and green. And it takes the 3 rolls of filament, puts them into what's called an extruder, which is the gear mechanism that pushes it through the print head. The print head melts the plastic, and it combines the 3 colors coming out of the hot end, which is what they call it, a hot end. Dolly Parton has a hot end, right? She's got hot boobs and a hot end. But it takes the 3 colors and pushes them into the nozzle by heating up the plastic, and it blends it, kind of mixing it, and it produces the brown. It's spectacular. It's 3D printing is fascinating, and the perfection of this little cube is unbelievable. You see, it can create a cube of this complexity. Now, of course, that's a horrible example. Here's something I did. Here's my little trash can on my desk. So I created this not with this printer, because this is a brand new printer I just got on Saturday. But I could have made this by knowing how many millimeters I needed the orange to be, and the brown and the green. I could have put in orange, brown, and green filament, or I could have put in just orange and green and mixed the orange and green together to produce the brown. Really is a fascinating 3D printing. They should teach this in school. And if they don't, they should, because it gives you the ability to learn engineering, learn creativity, learn design. It's something that, you know, we used to have shop when I remember some people went to college to learn engineering like I did. Some people went to trade school to go to shop and learn how to do woodworking, electronics, plumbing. This is like a shop. Everyone should have a 3D printer and learn how to do this shit. It's fascinating. If you have any creativity in your head, you can take what's in your head and create. I don't think I have anything else to show you here, because in the show that I do, I created another little trash can, which is a folding trash can here. You can spin it and fold it up. It's like, you know, when you have these little doggy duty bags, you can do, you know, they have the folding cups for dogs. When you take them out, you crush them. Same thing, so I did that. What else did I do? Well, I've got my, I think I showed you. Here's something I did, and I'm going to show you in miniature, and then I converted it into something rather large. I took this thing called an infinity cube. So what it is it's something that you can design on the 3D printer, and it just loops around in infinity. It's got no end in it. So I designed this, and I thought, you know what? Actually, this one I didn't design. I found this on Thingiverse, it's called. And I thought, you know what? With my ability to create lighting, I'm going to make this bigger. And I have it already. I'm not going to show you guys until I do my show on 3D printing. But if you think about this small miniature thing, I made it to be 8 inches square. So it's many inches bigger than this. So I made it 8 inches square. And then I got on the internet and I found 3D imaging where you can take an image. So I made a 3D image of my hand. And I created my hand in plastic. So I've got this. Now I've got a small hand in here. Of course, my 8-inch one's a lot bigger, so I have my hand in here. And it's holding up my Alexa cube. You know what Alexa is. I have an Alexa Echo, so I can talk to it, and I can say, in fact, I'll do it now. Alexa, play classical music.
Here's a station you might like. Ultimate Classical on Amazon Music.
Alexa, volume up. Alexa, volume up. Is she playing? Alexa, who is this?
This is Chopin, Waltz number 6 in D flat, Opus 64 number 1, Minute
Alexa,
by Vladimir
stop.
Oshkin.
Of course, if I keep going, what's going to... Alexa, stop. If I keep going, probably I'm going to get my channel shut down because I played music that I have to pay for, right? That I don't have BMI or ASCAP coverage to play that piece of music. But what I did is I created a holder for my Alexa Echo, and my hand is holding up the Echo, and this cube is around it, lit up. I have LED lights around here, and I'll show you guys that when I do my 3D print show. In the meantime, I'm done for today. Send me a trash can, you owe me a CD. Terry's right, I still owe her a CD. I have Alexa 2. I have Alexa 3. I think they're up to Alexa 5 now or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe I can I turn my computer screen around to I can't. I've got too much. I created this. This is a 3D tree. So this is a 3D print, and I've got the front is in a gold with a green. And so this is kind of like the falling of the leaves because the leaves are turning gold. If I turn it around, I got the summertime orange and green. That's a 3D. You can see that. It's actually a puzzle. You can take these pieces out and you can make a puzzle out of it. So this is what you can do with 3D printing. It's just really fascinating. And I will do a show to show you 3D printing. And maybe I'll show you a 3D print being made and I'll accelerate it so you can see the line by line. So it takes a long time to create shit like this. It's like I think even to do this little tiny cube, I think this took 3 hours, I think. So to do the 8-inch cube, I think it took me like 24 hours to create that cube or have it print. And then plus you got to design it. So on top of just printing, you got to design the thing, which takes hours. But it's hours spent in productivity where it's fascinating. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. In the meantime, I've got to get out of here. Can I show you anything else? Wish I could turn the... Maybe... let me see if I can unplug this without breaking it. Give you a little sneak preview. I gotta take Alexa. No, I'm not gonna spill the beans right now. I want to show you guys right now, but I'm not going to. We're gonna leave it at that at the end of my show. I'll come back on here like in a week and show you the word clock I did and the lit up Alexa holder with my hand being the thing. It's funny. If you think of an 8-inch cube, my hand's big. It won't fit an 8-inch cube, so I had to take my hand, 3D image it all around, and I had to miniaturize my hand. Now, it's a good thing I didn't use my penis because I would have had to blow up the size of my penis to fit in there because my penis is a lot smaller than my hand is. I'm not going to get into that on this particular show. I'll get into that on the next show. Good to see Glenn Iverson. You can take more than 24 hours to create a really detailed 8-inch 3D figure. All right, Glenn, so you're on here. I got to show you my lit up 3D image Alexa holder. I'll do it because Glenn's on here. He's stimulating me to show you guys. So hang on. I got to first unplug it. I got to move Alexa out of there so I don't damage my 3D print because it's delicate. Hang on. I'm getting up here. I'm removing Alexa so I don't damage my print. I've got to unplug it from the back so I don't damage it when I lift it because 3D prints are delicate. Okay, I did that. Hang on here. I've got to be super careful here because I did damage it once. And I'll tell you why I damaged it. All right, here we go. Now let me plug it in. You can see the hand here, right? This is actually my hand that I miniaturized and put into an infinity cube. And on the hand here is where I put the Alexa, the circular Alexa, which I'm not going to put on here now. But you get the idea. My hand holds up the Alexa. And I'm going to plug it in to show you the LED lights, which are controlled by a little control miniature computer. I always have trouble plugging this into the back of the computer. Damn it. Oh, you know what? I got a little side battery pack. It's much easier to plug that in there. Plug it in, it engages the computer, and there we go, it lights up. So I'll hold it up. So this is called the Infinity Cube with my actual hand holding up the Alexa, which I'm not going to put in here now, but this is what it looks like. Pretty fascinating. In the bottom, you can see the control panel. And I got to do a little bit better job wiring it, but you get the idea. And through software, I can control the colors of this. So at nighttime, after my show's finished at about, I think I set it up for 11 o'clock, it dims a bit. I could also have it do like a disco lighting where it's doing all, you can do anything with software. So that's kind of what I did. Whatever you do, don't tell your Amazon device to answer to computer and start watching Star Trek. That's exactly right. Don't do that. So this is my device I created, and I think it took 24 hours. And the other thing is that 3D printers use different filaments. This is created using PLA filaments, which is less fragile. The hand I used created with ABS, which is supposed to be a stronger filament, which is actually waterproof as well, but it's a lot more fragile. So I was playing around with my wife. I brought my hand here, and I had it tucked into a long sleeve, and I was going to shake her hand with the plastic hand because she didn't see me making this. And I dropped it on the floor, and I thought, oh, it's going to be okay. But ABS filament is fragile. It's stronger, it's waterproof, but it's brittle. I dropped it on the floor, and it shattered. So, oh, by the way, on the base of this, I'm scared to tilt this. On the base of it, I put roots like a tree. I don't think you can see that. Maybe if I unplug it, you can see it. Probably not. Or maybe you can. At the bottom, I put a base that looks like tree. So it looks like a tree leading into a hand. So let me put it back, and then I'll say goodnight to you guys. Let me put it back because I'm scared as shitless. I'm scared picking this shit up. I pick it up. I'm going to put it back in my place where I'm going to be careful here. Be patient, guys. I'll be back in a second while I plug this back in. I do not want to drop this again. You think plastic is safe. And by the way, when it shattered into the actual 3D printers print plastic on top of plastic. It shattered, showing me the lines it made. How come I can never find the back of this computer? I think I got it plugged in. Put my base underneath of it, because I do have a base to cover up the printed circuit board that I did not glue in yet. But I will. I'm going to put my Alexa back on my hand without breaking the fingertips, because damn, this thing is delicate. There we go. And nothing broke. And Terry says she wants that. That took a lot of effort to design that. And what happens too is when you design stuff in 3D prints, you make a prototype and then you have to redo it a second time, redo it a third time. And when you do it, you can do it with different quality as well. So you can do it with different levels of I'll get into that when I do a show on 3D printing. It's good that you're getting away from the stupid political shows, though. That's what Harry says. You know, I'm not going to get into politics anymore because as fucked up as it is, I don't need to be a fucking part of it. So there we go. So that's all I got for tonight, guys. I've been thinking about, you know, since now I got fired, I've been thinking about, you know what, maybe I will come back and do a music show. But I think I'll do a music show that's more fun and more adult-natured in comedy with the artist coming on. And I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to come back to doing a show periodically, a music show where I have bands on. And it'll just be an adult comedy format with music behind it. So I think I'm going to do that because I think I still need to be creative somehow. So I think I'm going to come back at some point and just do a total fuck up of a show dedicated to music. But that's all I got for now, guys. I'm going to end the show. Thanks for joining. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for liking the show. And that is all I got. Here's the closing song, which who liked it? Who liked that? And again, let me say hello to Harry, who I've never met before. Harry, I don't know how I met Harry. If you were more competent and had a better work ethic, say, here we go. I knew it. I knew somebody would come on and say, here's a guy that is a baby boomer who can no longer be productive. I knew I'd have one asshole coming in saying that. He complimented me saying, it's good to see you're out of stupid politics. And he comes on here and he deleted the message as well. Fuck him. You know, you want to say something, leave it out there. Don't take it away. Oh no, he left it there. And I didn't wear rings tonight, so if anyone came on here like Harry and says, Dave, if you were more competent and had a better work ethic, you might have not been fired. So I didn't wear rings tonight. You know why? So I could give someone a finger without a ring. And this guy doesn't fucking know me, so shut the fuck up. He had to say something. Yeah, say something more intelligent. You have no idea what degree of work ethic I have, and I've slammed the millennials for not having a work ethic. See, who liked my intro? It was Big Papa. So he's going to see my ending song being the same as the entry song. See you guys later. Cheers.
Gee, it's great to be here at the disco. Let me tell you what happened to me the other day.
to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
I don't even wanna keep the score. Stop